Free for All Friday. It is Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Morning, Brian McMillan.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
All right. Welcome to the show. We got our special guest here today, Dale Martin, our city manager out on wild and crazy Flagler Beach.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Brian.
That's right. Only population of 6,000 people, right?
Approximately correct.
All right. On the promo, we said, how is it that that a city of 6,000 people can have its own fire department, police department, kind of being self-contained, your own utilities department, and all that.
Full service city.
Is that common or uncommon in the world today?
I'd say it's more uncommon, especially with the sanitation. We're one of the few communities left in the state that does provide our own internal sanitation service. I think there's challenges to that. But there's challenges to local government all over the place.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, so how are you overall? It's budget time again. Is Flagler Beach paying its bills and have enough money to do what you need to do?
Absolutely.
Overall?
We've had the first two workshops with the city commission, and we proceeded through those discussions. And I think the next step are the public hearings scheduled for September 11th and September 25th. But I think we've got a good framework for the budget to move forward.
I mean, there's so much stuff going on. You've got your centennial, 100 years old, all kinds of celebrations and things like that.
Yep, that's led by Mayor King. She's doing a great job spearheading that effort.
Yeah. The pier, of course, some of the businesses are going, oh my God, the parking. Well, like we say, we always heard about the parking, but it's worse now with the construction and stuff like that. What are you hearing from the local businesses on Flagler Beach with all the pier construction?
Yeah, there's the challenges with parking. As you indicated, there's always been parking challenges. We've been a little frustrated with the pace of progress on the South Central water main and repaving project, but they are scheduled to repave and reopen South Central Avenue next week. So the plan is that by Labor Day weekend, all that parking and that street will be completely reopened again for use. And people can make use, often overlooked, is the use of the City Hall parking lot is available for public parking after hours. Yes, it's a challenge, but we're going to have to deal with that challenge for the next 16 to 18 months.
Brian?
What do you think the centennial celebrations do for the city? I mean, that's a lot of work. There's been multiple events. What do you think it means to people to know that, like, the city of Flagler Beach is a 100-year-old city?
It has been a very dedicated core of people, as I mentioned, led by Mayor King, that have pulled the events together. I think some of them, I think they've all been successful. It was kicked off with the birthday party in April. May, ice cream social with the Women's Club. June was our outdoor community dinner. So I think, there's what I've discovered in the 2 years I've been in Flagler Beach is it is an incredibly strong sense of community pride. Mm-hmm. And I think people take great pride in the fact that they live in a small beach heritage community.
Do you think that the fact that Palm Coast is only 25, that impacts that kind of sense? Like there isn't maybe as much like I don't know, just musing here, but
no, I think we're doing a series with Flagler Beach called Snapshot in Time, and so they're bringing the people in that, like this one lady, she's 90-something, I can't remember her name, but she, as a little girl during World War II on the beach, she could see them bombing U-boats right off of the shore of Flagler Beach.
Wow.
She remembered that and the explosions, and we have other people talking about walking to school. And there was like a barge to cross the intracoastal where they had to crank it. The kids had to crank it by hand to call with a rope on it to bring the barge over. They would get on it. Other people were talking about how there was cattle walking through downtown, right through Flagler Beach, and they had to go through the cattle. And she remembered this one mean bull. She had his name and everything. So I think that's a reason to capture real storytelling of people that lived it and remember things. So we're producing that. We're doing some video with it, and it'll
awesome.
So I'll share it with you if you can, share it with your social media as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But to capture in time, people's memories and where Finn's is right now used to be a casino. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
Sounds familiar, yes.
Okay.
I don't remember it.
But it's not a casino the way you would think a casino would be.
Not a gambling casino.
Right. It was like a bathhouse.
Like a community hall.
Rest and recovery.
Yeah. So to answer your question, 25 years, there's not a whole lot I guess there would be. But I'm saying 100 years in people's memories. And you got to catch, them talking about these things while they're still alive, because we've lost so many people over the last several years that have just great stories to tell and memories that, like Cisco Dean, I wish we had spent more time, talking to people that was, that can share stories that would live on. And they're doing a time capsule. So we're going to put all this in a time capsule. So got to put your newspaper in there too.
Very cool.
All right. Sam Greco, our state representative, who I just saw at the sewer plant this week in Palm Coast. Good morning, Sam.
Hi, David. How are you?
All right. Fancy meeting you out there. But I thought it was interesting, the utility plant in Palm Coast.
It was a great opportunity to see the plant. I've had a lot of conversations with officials in Palm Coast about their utility needs, and we were able to get some funding, about $5 million in the budget last year, to support some of their wastewater treatment plant projects. So I'm very grateful for all the information they've been able to share with me, but it's always helpful to get out there, lay eyes on it myself, and really understand the problem and have the context of seeing it in person. And it was good to see you there, too.
Well, Dale Martin's here. He's our city manager for Flagler Beach. Dale, you want to say good morning?
Good morning, Representative.
Hi, Dale. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. It's a Friday.
Well, time is flying, and it won't be too far out where Dale and a lot of other people come to Tallahassee asking Sam Greco to help us with some money and get our allocations over here. So what are you going to have your hand out for this year, our city manager, Dale?
Well, I don't think our needs will be too different than Palm Coast. Our wastewater plant is also under a consent order from the state due to overflows from recent hurricanes. Our plant was built in 1987. We still have some antiquated technology. We use drying beds to get rid of our sludge. So you put the stuff out, and you hope it doesn't rain. You hope the humidity doesn't get too high so it dries out enough that we can truck it away to the landfills. But we've gone out. We're doing the first steps of converting to a new plant, and the first steps are we got a $3 million sludge press, which will take the place of the watering beds. But then we got bids. We're doing quality control review of a $47 million upgrade to rebuild the plant. And that has to bring in also the reuse, which is required by the state as well.
A sludge press.
Right, it squeezes the water out of sludge faster than right.
When is it all going to be upgraded and done?
Well, we're working on the financing for the main plant. The sludge press should be operational in about 10 months, but we're probably talking 2 years, 3 years for the wastewater treatment plant.
So, Representative Greco, you're probably hearing, is infrastructure utility, is this the big, because you cover a big area, you've got Duval, I mean, not Duval, you have St. Johns County, and what's the biggest things you see coming that is going to take a ton of money?
Yeah, I mean, I think infrastructure is high on that list. We have an area that's obviously experienced growth, continuing growth. We also, in Flagler County have a lot of infrastructure that is aging on the same timeline, which, creates additional demands on financial resources to upgrade those utilities all at the same time to some extent. So I think infrastructure is certainly a big topic. It's something I'm very interested in and I like working on. I know that it's also something that Senator Leak enjoys working on. So I think that those types of projects are certainly things that we're happy to advocate for in Tallahassee and try to get state dollars back to support. And then, we are in storm season now, and we were obviously very happy that Hurricane Aaron stayed out to sea, but we're always conscious of the next storm. And even though Aaron stayed out to sea, we saw waves and tides in the district that were impacted by it. So resiliency is always something top of mind for me, and to the extent that the cities and counties have resiliency projects certainly also eager to advocate for them with respect to those projects. But as Dale mentioned, there is a nexus between a lot of these utility projects and resiliency. Our wastewater treatment plants are most taxed when we have storms come through and we have increased water that's moving through those plants. So, the issues are intertwined.
Yeah, I think Representative Greco brings up a great point, is that our water plant produces roughly 500,000 gallons of water a day for drinking, but our sewer plant treats 700,000 gallons, and that is supposed to be a closed system. So there's water, as he indicated. The infrastructure underground is aging. You get the pipes that are 50 to 60 years old that are cracked. You got manholes that leak. So we have to treat an additional amount of water that doesn't need treating. It's stormwater. And now we won't be able to discharge that to the intercoastal as we had. So now we got to figure out, where do we put, 500,000 gallons a day when it's not raining, and we can't discharge it into the intercoastal as we used to. So now we have to look at the reuse, which is commonly referred to as purple pipe, for irrigation purposes, and that's for golf courses or recharging swamps or things like that. So those are and unfortunately it'll fall on the backs of the ratepayers when we have to upgrade these systems. And fortunately this year we're going to hold our water and sewer rates flat for the coming year. The staff has at least proposed that to the city commission, that we think we can make do before we really start to have to look at what the long-term cost of our infrastructure is.
Sam, what's the budget for any indications for 2026? Is it going to be more, flat, or what are you guessing?
So the budget that will pass in the 2026 session will be the FY27 budget. And I am in very, very early days, David. So, we'll see how things shake out. But my expectation at the moment is that the FY27 budget will look, as far as top-line number, similar to the FY26 budget, which is the one that we just passed back in June.
Okay. We're hearing about congressional redistricting. Is there any talk of redistricting for the House?
Preliminary conversations. The House has formed a special committee to review and conduct any redistricting for the congressional maps. That the state Senate and state House maps are not currently in consideration for redistricting. So that is certainly something that may come up this session, and it may be something that we start discussing in earnest in our committee weeks, which start on October 6th.
Brian?
How do you feel about the redrawing of lines, for political purposes? I mean, on one hand, I think that's sometimes been seen as kind of like a trick that's not really supposed to be used to try to secure more seats, but it's been in the news a lot. Like, that's just kind of like a tactic that the parties, seem to be a little more open to using. Like, what's your take on it?
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that characterization that it's redrawing for political purposes, but the state legislature does have the authority to draw districts in the state of Florida. Every state constitution is different. Every state has different requirements. Some states use commissions. Some states use independent panels. But in Florida, that responsibility falls to the legislature. And again, we're gonna take a look at this issue, study it. But if it's something that we feel is in the benefit of Floridians, I think we will take that measure.
So it shouldn't be used as a political tactic. Then, is that how you feel about it?
I think that's just not a fair characterization of the current conversation that we're having.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Hey, economic development, that's another big thing, right? With Dale, everybody's looking for. We've had some good things happen here in Flagler. How involved do you get as our state representative in economic development and bringing industry and businesses here from wherever?
Well, it's something I care a lot about, and I've had conversations with the cities and counties about how we can better enable that. For example, we have land in Flagler County along US 1 in the southern part of the county that is well suited for industrial and commercial development zoned as such, but it's not served by utilities. And so it's a tough sell to try to get a business to come in there without that infrastructure in place. And then there would be, of course, costs and time delays associated with outfitting that land to be adequate. So I know that that's one of the items that the county, and they haven't finalized their request list yet, but I know that's certainly one of the items that they have discussed being a legislative priority for funding, is to try to get some state resources in conjunction with county resources to get that land to a position where if a business wanted to come in, it's ready to go.
I've heard talk, this is on transportation. I've heard talk that Brightline's ultimate goal is really to get all the way to Jacksonville. You're talking a very complicated type of thing with land acquisitions and rails and things like that. Do you see that happening? That because that would affect us. It would come right through or right near Flagler County, St. Johns County, your whole district here. What are your thoughts on getting high-speed rail through here to Jacksonville, so you could go Jacksonville to Miami?
Yeah, this topic came up at the Flagler Palm Coast Chamber legislative debrief we did, and it's a good question. I've had conversations with Brightline. I think it is a possibility, but I think to the extent that it is a possibility, it's one that is far out in the future. Brightline has already committed to extending from Orlando, which is currently the end of their line, to Tampa. That project has been, I think it's fair to say, very slow moving, and there's a number of reasons for that, everything from right-of-ways to the funding that it requires. It's an expensive project, but I think that certainly that would, should that come to pass, should Brightline extend up to Jacksonville, through Flagler County, there would certainly be opportunity associated with that. And but I do think, unfortunately, I think that's far off. For one thing, that it certainly wouldn't happen before the extension to Tampa is completed, and even then, I think that it's something that Brightline would need to consider. That it make economic value for them, economic sense for them, and that they have the ability to implement it.
All right, we got to go here, but I wanted to. It seemed like you just got elected, and now we're already talking about the midterms next year, which are up for re-election again in 26. Are you liking what you're doing? Is this political thing for Sam Greco? Do you enjoy it? And what are your plans moving forward?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's a tremendous honor to do this job. Well, to your specific question, I filed for re-election several months ago, so certainly eager to continue to serve and look forward to having the opportunity to stand on the ballot again in November of 2026. But it's a tremendous honor to do this. It really is. It's an incredibly unique opportunity to help craft the law. As an attorney myself and somebody who has worked with the law in my profession and been, I suppose you could say, a recipient of the law, to be on the opposite side and again have that very unique ability and opportunity to help craft the law to make things work better is a tremendous honor. It's exciting. You get to meet with folks from every industry in Florida, and we really have an incredibly diverse economy. Everything that you can imagine happens here in Florida. Figure out where the pressure points are. Figure out what our region needs, what different communities around the state need, how we can alleviate pressure points. It's a tremendous opportunity to serve, to make a positive difference on the lives of Floridians, and what I'm very happy to have the opportunity to do.
All right, Sam Greco, State Representative, thank you for serving us. Thank you for your service to our country prior to all this, and we'll keep in touch with you in the next couple of weeks. How about that?
Sounds great. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the day and enjoy the weekend.
Thanks,
right.
you too.
Thank you, you too.
All right, take care. All right, State Representative Sam Greco, let him go. We're going to check in. Oh, we got a big thing going on right now at the Senior Health and Wellness Expo. We're going to check in on that and see how many people showed up for the free donuts and cash. And we'll take a break here. We'll be right back with our special guest today, Dale Martin, Flagler Beach City Manager.
Best happy hour on the beach every day from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. You'll love these drinks.
Johnny D's Beach Bar and Grill. We're waiting for you.
Don't even think about climbing that ladder.
We got a guy that'll do it for you.
If you're going to do it right with Benjamin Moore.
We've got the professional painters and the best paint.
Benjamin Moore, corner of Old Kings and Utility Drive.
Palm Coast.
Craig Flagler Palms Funeral Home and Flagler Memorial Gardens creates unique personalized funeral or cremation memorials, has flexible chapel space for small to large capacity needs, a veteran cemetery section, as well as sections for a variety of faiths. Online at dignitymemorial.com.
9:30, free for all Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Checking in with our friends out on Flagler Beach. Everybody loves Flagler Beach, and Dale Martin doing a great job from all indications. Haven't really seen you in the news do anything bad lately. So
Nope, it's a great place to live and work.
Congratulations on that. Anyway, hey, we have a cool thing going on. It's our annual, looks like our 14th annual a Health and Wellness Expo. We're doing it this year. It's grown so big. It's moved to the Palm Coast Community Center. And Laura Z, are you there?
I am here. Yes, I am. And we might need an even bigger place soon because this room is packed out. We've got, I think, about 46 vendors this year, which I think is our largest to date so far.
All right. Well, so I saw some pictures, lots of people coming in. Did we go through all the free donuts yet?
Yes, I think the donuts are gone. We might still have a little bit of coffee. And the cash grab this morning was a big hit. I ran into a woman coming in this morning. She won $10 from the cash grab, and she was so excited. So thank you for that, David.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know we put what we had was a bunch of envelopes, like for the first 50 people with cash in them. So you could have gotten somebody got a $100 bill. And then some 50.
Oh, man, I didn't see them.
Yeah. What did it? Well, yeah. Well,
you'd have to give that back if you got that one.
Yeah, at least
that's right. They got to share with me.
Good Lord. They should have said thank you, at least, anyway. All right. So people coming out, do a quick little commercial, Laura Z, for people listening right now. It's going on until 2 o'clock. Tell us, why should they come out?
That's right. They should come out because this room is full with folks in this community that are providing great resources, great information, and great care and support to our seniors in our community. We have everybody here from healthcare companies like home health companies, private duty companies. We have Here For You Mobile Audiology. They're doing hearing screenings, free hearing screenings with Kathy and her team from Here to You, Here For You. Palm Coast Lions Club, they're here too, doing free blood pressure checks and free vision screenings. If you are thinking it might be time to look into assisted living, we have a number of different assisted living facilities here as well. Nursing homes and rehabs are here. Financial wellness. Nobody really thinks or talks about that financial wellness piece, and we have a number of different financial planners out here too.
All right, very good. Okay, so it's going on until 2 o'clock today at the Community Center in Palm Coast.
That's right, here until 2 o'clock. And I do need to give a big shout-out to Advent Health. They're with us each and every year as our presenting sponsor. So a big shout-out to Advent Health for all they do for our community and to be a partner here with us for the Senior Health and Wellness Expo.
All right, are there free Palm Coast Observer newspapers available there?
I think I saw a few laying around. We'll make sure of that.
Well, sell them for 50 cents if you can. All right. Hey, thanks, Laura.
All right, great, David.
All right,
no problem. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks.
All right. Let's see, a whole bunch of people. Well, we got a lot of text here while we were talking with Greco. So, first of all, one was very happy with all your hard work, Representative Greco. That was a nice one, a listener here. What are the best? I should have looked at this before, so anyway, but I promised I would, so I'm doing it. What are the best things for us to do to draw in new businesses outside the obvious pad-ready sites? Is that one, Dale? Can you tackle that question? What are the best things for us to do to draw in new businesses without pad-ready sites?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge. I think, as Representative Greco said. I mean, we have the utilities in Flagler Beach, but we don't have the land. I mean, we're pretty much entirely residential and general commercial. We have no industrial land in our community. I know Palm Coast and Bunnell and Flagler County are struggling with what kind of industry to bring in. But, I think local government is all about networking, and you need to reach out and find out what people want and build those relationships, whether it's at trade shows or things like that. It's a great quality of life here in this community. And we have the growth from Daytona creeping in from the south, the growth from St. Augustine creeping in from the south. So I think there's some great opportunities here, not just in Flagler Beach, but I think this whole region is pretty well set, and I think we just need to build some of those relationships.
What would you do, David? You've been in this industry, in this community a long time. If you were if you were in charge of economic development, what would you do?
Well, first of all, it's very competitive. Okay, so you need, what I did. Actually, I was with the Committee of 100, Pasco County, Florida, years ago. So we had an airport, and we had the Zephyr Hills Airport, and all those kind of things. So something similar. It's a small city, but we had somebody in Tallahassee that we paid, like a consultant, that had his ear to the ground on people wanting to move to Florida. And then he would go meet with them and say, look at Zephyr Hills.
Was that from Enterprise Florida in those days? Or
Yeah. I mean, so, but it's kind of like you almost need somebody at the intersection of all the inquiries and before things happen, and pay a consultant to represent you with economic development. So do we have that for the county that represents Flagler Beach? And do we have
I believe the county,
like a lobbyist, basically,
and Palm Coast. I think they have staff, economic development people on their staff. We don't in Flagler Beach, but I know that I think they just hired that used to be Jason with Palm Coast, but I think they've replaced, got a new economic development director in there.
Community development director.
Craig.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, the private sector, I mean, they're months, years ahead of the research that they're doing. But I think, when I was waiting to come on this morning, David, on the desk, you have some of the demographics of this area about the annual household income and the population growth. And I think that's what the private sector looks for. They look for an educated workforce. They look for spendable income for residents. So I think we're primed for it. It's just
we got to tell the story.
Right. It takes a lot longer than, hey, let's just open a new place next week.
I wonder if more coordination could be done, if like the county and the cities kind of do their own thing a little bit. And I don't know, there's a lot of benefit if a business comes and plants in, say, Bunnell, Palm Coast residents could still be working there. So I think there's a lot of community-wide benefit, even though and especially if a business comes to, say, Bunnell or Flagler Beach. I know there's not a lot of land, but they're still paying county taxes, which then help everybody also. So
yeah, well, I mean, just like what was it we were trying to get here at the airport that went to Daytona? What was that company? I can't remember what it was.
It's an avionics company.
Yeah. I mean, so I think our airport is a lightning rod for great stuff that we can do here with clean industry and things. That was primarily with Zephyr Hills was the airport and getting roads and stuff like that into it. But we have a lot to offer here. The quality of life is a big thing now. I think that a lot of businesses are looking at the taxes here for Florida, so they're coming to Florida, but then we got to compete and eke it out to have them come to us.
It's interesting with the airport because you don't really hear the airport brought up much in Palm Coast, like in the city government and city council and stuff like that, as being a positive engine for economic development. It's usually seen as, at least lately, there's been a lot of kind of antagonism about the airport just because of noise, and some residents are bothered by that. Not to downplay that, but I think because it's not a city airport, maybe there's less like, oh yeah, that's one of our great assets to the community is the airport. I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't think it really makes a difference if it's in the city limits or not. Yeah, it actually may be better not in the city limits, so they don't have to screw around with city ordinances and things. So it could be a plus.
I'm saying the city doesn't brag about the airport. You don't really see that, but the county does a lot because it's kind of like their thing.
Well, and then once in what Roy's doing, his plan is really good. I think with the new terminal or FBO, whatever, it's going to be real. Have you seen the plans for that? It's like a $10 million because what happens now is like Zuckerberg and the CEO of Home Depot and all these big companies, they fly in and out of here all the time. And but they got to like park out on the tarmac and walk down. Now they're going to be able to pull their jet up.
We need red carpets for these guys.
Yes, yeah. So they're going to like it more. And then they're going, you know what? Maybe this is a good place to. And they do. They buy condos and houses here. There's a very wealthy, famous people, you would know who they are, that do live here, and they like it because it's quiet, and they don't know they're here. They can bring their families here, fly them in, spend the weekend, and meet up with them. And it's a different lifestyle, but. We have it all. We really do. You think about the diversity we have with West County and agriculture, which we really should talk about more because that is huge. And most of us just live US 1 to the beach, is our whole life here. But
right. Yeah, I had an airport in my former community, and we did the same thing. It's you get people flying in a little easier to fly into there instead of Jacksonville airports, and with the conference centers, with the Ritz and the Omni up there. But, yeah, the airport can be a tap. But, again, you get into how much room do you have around the airport without, as Palm Coast is experiencing, encroaching onto the residential lifestyle and the concerns of the conflicting uses between residential and aviation.
Yeah. Anyway, well, it's good. Well, at least we don't have a parachute skydiving center here like they do in Zephyr Hills. That was a whole different story. All right. Well, here, let's talk. We were going to talk about the CRA. Casey was going to be here. She's not. So can you fill in for us here about the Flagler Beach CRA? What is the Flagler Beach CRA? What is a CRA?
CRA is a community redevelopment agency, and it's a tool that was created by the state. And several cities across the state have taken advantage of CRAs. It doesn't increase the taxes. It basically takes the same tax revenue pie and divides it up differently. So taxes that are generated by increased property values in Flagler Beach CRA, which is downtown, they have to be retained and spent within that district. And it's to address blight and aesthetics, economic development, things like that. So Ms. Ryan joined the city earlier this year. She's brought some enthusiasm to it. She's been almost a lifelong resident of Flagler Beach, so she's got some street cred with business owners and things like that. So she's doing a great outreach, trying to coordinate with all the projects going on downtown.
How much money is in the CRA account? I mean, or a year? Because it's like basically a 10-block area, right?
Right. It's about a little bit less than $1 million a year that's brought in. Because let's take example the hotel, the new hotel. When it was a vacant lot, the property taxes were X, let's just say. With the new property, with the hotel, now it's like 4 times X. That 4 times X goes to the CRA. It doesn't go to the city.
The extra 3X does?
Correct.
Or all 4?
No, the extra 3X. So it's called tax increment financing. So any increase in the property taxes goes to the CRA, but the city still gets that baseline value. And so the baseline value was established 10, 15 years ago in the city of Flagler Beach.
So the city as a whole, how does the city, the other residents, benefit from that extra 3X going to a CRA instead of to the city as a whole? Because it seems like, some people might think, well, that would be nice if that helped everybody, but what's the benefit of one separate pot?
The 2 projects that are currently going on, or that are one's going on and one's contemplated by the city commissions, we're redoing the Wickline Park playground. Wickline Park is in the CRA district. It goes down to South 9th Street. So that'll benefit the entire community. And then Veterans Park. The city commission has tasked the city staff to coordinate and re-envision Veterans Park. So that could
re-envision it in what way? What are you thinking?
Well, that's what we need to get from the city commission when they come up with we're creating a new parks committee. People can still apply for that. The city commission next Thursday is supposed to appoint members to that. So we're looking at that group. But then we're also looking to create a CRA advisory board, because I think the city the engagement with the business community has been, sporadic at best. And so I think by creating a CRA advisory board and encouraging the businesses to work more directly, because we get told, well, you're a government, you've never had to run a business, and let's get those business people involved and help us make some of these decisions that directly affect businesses. So we're going to be creating the CRA advisory board, and we'll be soliciting business applicants for that in September.
where City Hall is right now, is that the best use of that land to have City Hall there?
I think a lot of cities have similar questions like that. Ormond Beach has asked that a lot,
If you go
too.
back to, and the city had a charrette long before I got here. It was in 2002 and created the downtown master plan. It strongly recommends that City Hall stay exactly where it is. Is the value of that property substantial? Absolutely. But it overlooks the prime green space, public gathering space in the city. It's right in the heart of downtown. So yeah, I think the charrette and the downtown master plan encouraged City Hall to stay where it is.
Well, then shouldn't you have a new City Hall? I mean, it's kind of old. When was it made? How old is it? It's
from the 1960s.
Yeah.
We have this discussion, but again, it comes down to what are the priorities. Right now we have city staff scattered. It's a solid building. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the
city staff is scattered. So are there some inefficiencies that could be overcome by doing something?
But again, you have to basically sell that to first the city commissioners and then the community, because city halls, especially for a city our size, you're talking $10 to $15 million.
See, I think City Hall should be moved to the top floor of the Aliki. That way, your office, you can look out with your binoculars and see everybody and everything going on. So we can do, Dale Martin from high atop the.
I've got a great view from my office overlooking Veterans Park as it is, but I mean, does that need to be contemplated? Absolutely, but and it's a 3 to 5 year project. But what are the demands for the fire department? What are the demands for the police department? And how do you handle that? Because again, it's where you can't go to Representative Greco and ask for money for a new city hall. So you basically have to bond something like that, and you have to demonstrate the need.
So would the CRA fund be able to help?
You can do that
and bond it through that.
You can. I believe there are some conditions that if you're going to build new facilities, you actually have to get the buy-in from other agencies that contribute to the CRA. And that's another benefit to the CRA, because the CRA captures some county taxes and some of the other taxing entities, whether it's Florida Inland Navigation District. The CRA captures those. So you need to get permission to use CRA dollars from the county, because we capture a portion of their taxes.
So in other words, the city, that property that now on which the Margaritaville Hotel now sits, it was doing a 1X at one point with Flagler Beach taxes as well as Flagler County taxes.
Absolutely.
And that extra now 3X of county taxes is also going in the CRA?
Correct.
So the county is definitely losing money on that.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, okay.
And the CRAs, they're under assault, as with a lot of government programs. There's been abuses of it elsewhere in the state. So the CRAs were under scrutiny, heavy scrutiny at the last session of the legislature. But it's a tool for economic development. And we offer businesses grants. You can have a small grant for up to $5,000 to do some improvements to your business, all the way up to $15,000. And we encourage businesses to apply. Ms. Ryan is the point of contact for that. So it is an economic development tool that I think is serving this purpose well, at least in Flagler Beach.
When the pier is all done, which will be when?
The official completion date of the contract is November 6th of 2026.
Okay, so
but Patty King thinks it might be a little later than that. That's what she said last time.
There are plenty of skeptics, but I'm confident that we'll be able to. We should be able to celebrate New Year's Eve 2026 off the end of the pier.
Nice.
All right, so what will it look like then? So here it is. Picture in your mind the cranes are gone, all the construction stuff is gone, it's all landscaped, and the beach walk, the walkways are all done, and the pier is done. What's it going to look like?
It's going to be crazy with people. Again, it's the pier itself will be extended out to about close to 900 feet. It'll be higher. It'll be elevated by another 10 feet. It'll be concrete, but
it'll be 10 feet higher than the existing pier?
Yes.
Ooh.
And the theory behind that is what damages or destroys the piers is the wave action from the underside. It pops the planks. By raising it to 27 feet, the engineers, God love engineers, believes that takes it above the wave action of the most significant storms or 500-year storms. So wave action in the engineer's design concept should have minimal impact upon the pier itself. So we're going to keep the first 100 feet for historic, nostalgic purposes, and then it's going to slope up over 200 feet to maintain ADA compliance And then at the highest point, it'll be 27 feet up instead of the 17 feet it is now. It'll be 5 feet wider as well.
How many pilings have to be put in? A ton of them, right?
Yeah.
And how far do they pound them into the ground under the water?
I'm not sure how deep they go. They first try to use jets to drill or to do it, and then only at the end, when they get down to the bedrock, do they actually need to actually pound the pilings in. But they try to do as much of it hydraulically as possible. But yeah, it'll be a busy area.
Yeah. All right. And how does that benefit the pier? Because a lot of people say that's a whole lot of money and everything. Is there an equation of how the pier brings revenue to Flagler Beach?
It supports the businesses, and I think that's the key thing. I often tell people my job is to try and find a way to make businesses more money because that adds to our quality of life. We don't necessarily get sometimes understanding sales tax. All the sales tax generated in the city of Flagler Beach does not stay with the city. It goes to Tallahassee, and then it's redistributed throughout the state. But that keeps our local workers employed at good wages. It keeps our local businesses operating, brings in new businesses, as we talked about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'll be a huge draw. I mean, it's the iconic structure in the entire county.
So what's going on with Veranda Bay on the other side of the Intercoastal there, which a lot of people don't realize that is also Flagler Beach, to where you see the sign, "Welcome to Flagler Beach."
Well, it's not quite Flagler Beach. I know that the developer is contemplating. He's had to reconfigure how he wants to move forward with it. He's in some preliminary discussions with the city's planning department on how to move that forward, and it may be before the city's planning department in two parts, western or eastern part along the Intercoastal, and then the western part on the west side of John Anderson. That is likely scheduled to be before the Planning and Architecture Review Board in September and October.
Is the annexation, did that happen? Or is there
No, it has not.
There's still some question?
He was trying to figure out how to overcome some of the challenges, whether they were enclaves, things like that. But the annexation has not been filed, or has it been presented to the city board yet.
But overall, wouldn't it be beneficial for everybody for that to happen?
I don't think you could say everybody. I mean, I think some people have some concerns that, all right, are we destroying natural lands? Do we need more houses? I mean, it was just reported there's a highest glut of extra houses. Now the commercial portion may be more attractive to people because his original plan called for roughly 600,000 square feet of commercial space. And I think the challenge is not bringing in simply retail, but how do we bring in higher education? How do we ask Advent to expand that way? Because we don't have an urgent care or anything like that. So I've been prepared to reach out at the appropriate time to try and attract professional jobs, professional businesses, and things like that, more than just strip centers. That I don't think the developer has interest in that as well. But how can we build on the quality of life that we have?
When you think about there's not a lot of available land beyond Veranda Bay. Is that really the last kind of large piece of land that Flagler Beach has, or are there other parts that could
That's pretty much it. I'm not sure about going north. I know Palm Coast city limits go all the way to Publix. I think the last parcel along the north side of 100 is the 7-Eleven and the Vi-Star, and the apartments to the west of Publix. Going north, I'm not sure where exactly where the Palm Coast city limits are up in that area. But yeah, we got the county line to the south. So that'll probably be the last large scale annexation that the city will likely consider.
What is it that Flagler Beach is missing? You said Advent, you're talking to them about a walk-in clinic or emergency care thing. That's a good one. What else is Flagler Beach missing in the equation of it being a self-contained city that is if you could wish something in there, what would it be?
We got plenty of restaurants, and people are always looking for more restaurants. We got a grocery store. I know the developers talked about bringing in an additional grocery store as well. Maybe larger scale entertainment venue of some sort. Not talking stadiums or anything like that, but I think that's the people want places to go and gather and have a good time, and I think that's what Flagler Beach is all about. And to have another place. I think he is calling that portion of his development Summertown. So you'd have downtown, you'd have something different or as an alternative in Summertown. So I think that builds upon the recreation and vibrancy of Flagler Beach.
So you think it would be ready for, say, like a 2 or 3 story parking garage that's privately owned or maybe even city owned, where it's automated and you just like cha-ching, 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 and solves a lot of problems?
I will take direction from the city commission, but I don't think there's much support from a city standpoint of building a parking garage. I think we have it's commonly known we have large scale events in town, and people tend to find a place to park. But I don't think there's any interest in it. Now, if a private entity wants to do it, have at it. But I don't foresee the city spending dollars to purchase land and just turning it into parking.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with some final comments here. Dale Martin, our guest this morning, along with Brian McMillan and me, David Ayers, and Mark, our engineer. And we've got a big football game tonight. It is the Potato Bowl, crosstown rivalry, live here on WNZF. We'll be right back.
In a world where personal service and people who really care about you can be lost, we want you to know we are different. We love engaging with our clients. That's just how we've been since 2008. Your milestones in life and business are our milestones, and we are with you every step of the way. We can do everything that big banks do, but we add the community banking touch. If you're already one of our clients, thank you. And if not, we would love to be your locally owned community bank. I'm Laura Gilveri. Welcome to Intracoastal Bank, member FDIC.
Flagler County High School football live this Friday night at 7 on WNZF Radio. This Friday, it's the 17th annual Potato Bowl as the FPC Bulldogs invade the Matanzas Pirates. It's all brought to you by Arctic Breeze, Blinds by Jason, Cash It In Jewelry and Pawn, Flagler Chrysler Dodge, J&J Auto Body, and Palm Coast Acupuncture. Catch all the play-by-play action live with Rich Carroll and Mike Licio on 94.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the Flagler Radio mobile app.
Yes, football back. Friday Night Lights. I love it, don't you, Dale?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Brian, I know, you guys do good coverage on local sports, which is a great reason why to support our local newspaper as well.
Thank you. Yep. Brent Warrenoff has been great asset to the community for that reason, helping make the high school kids feel famous for the week, So.
Well, and they are, I mean, it's a big deal. And if we didn't have a local newspaper to report on it and give the kids and, rather than just, the kids to do bad things, this is what a local newspaper does. It reports all the good things, too. So
I think it's awesome that you guys have been doing your live streams and stuff. I know that's a huge project, big investment to go make that happen. But I think that's the same thing. It's kind of like team effort for covering the high school sports.
So if you're in like Tampa, you've got 20 high schools, and so you don't do any of them. But we got 2, so we can give coverage to both of them, and that's a pretty cool thing. Well, the big question to Dale Martin here: what do you think of the Cracker Barrel logo?
I like I'm a traditionalist. I like the old one. I like the old Coke and as well.
I'm behind on this. I saw a couple of headlines, but I haven't dived into the controversy.
Well, so did
it really lose a lot of money?
Well, the word is that 6 months ago or whatever, they had hired a new ad agency. You know how these young media queens are that come out of college and know everything. And they make the decisions and ask Bud Light what happened to them. And now they got Morgan Wallen back, drinking Bud Lights. But anyway, but that was the whole thing. Well, but here's the truth of it is the younger people, psychologically, they want to be together, but they want to be apart. And this is what I learned from Hilton when they went to why they were redesigning the lobby of the Hilton. And that was what they got out of it was, the younger, I'm talking, Gen Zers and Xers and everybody that's 40 and younger now because they've grown up, they're older. But that's what they want. And
they want to be together but separate.
Right.
What does that mean?
Let's say they want social areas to get together if they want to, but they also want an area to be alone by themselves. And so that's kind of redesigning like restaurant seating and things like that. So they're trying to modernize it, but they're, taking a big hit. But I like the old one too. I think Cracker Barrel, like Grandpa leaning on the barrel.
Right.
And I don't think it was dingy and dull inside. I kind of like the character. It makes you feel like,
you knew what you were getting. I think that's what is the appeal of a lot of businesses. You know exactly what you're getting when you went to a Cracker Barrel.
So I'm a fan of Cracker Barrel. I don't, I think they should leave well enough alone. But anyway, when you get off the interstate, you see a Cracker Barrel, you know what you're going to get. So I know my wife she'll like go through the store like, oh God, please, can you please, but that's a good thing. So anyway, I'm glad we have a Cracker Barrel here and everybody that works there and the management and the staff and everything. We love you and keep doing what you're doing and keep serving good food. That's all I have to say about that. And that's all I have to say about that. We're out of time. Dale Martin, final comments from you. Flagler Beach. What do you got to say?
It's going to be an exciting, end of the year, calendar year. We've got the centennial events that are wrapping up, and a lot of projects more in the works that are more behind the scenes, whether it's just city infrastructure or that. But looking forward to the pier being done as well.
All right, hurricane season,
absolutely
unscathed. Brian, final words.
Yeah, just thanks to you, Dale Martin, and everybody's making Flagler Beach a great place to go. I think it's an amazing thing, 100-year anniversary of the city, and I hope that people see, I think taking pride in a 25-year anniversary is part of the steps toward that. I think preserving the history is really important for a community to kind of grow up around it, and but yeah, excited about the Potato Bowl. I'll be there as well. So.
All right, very good. And if you can't be, or take your radio, and you can listen to it live, play-by-play with Rich Carroll, Mike Licio, and, so take your radio, and you'll know what's going on. And if you can't be there, tell all your friends and family up north they can tune in for live coverage on our stream. Dale, thank you for what you do. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Brian?
Brian.
Have a good weekend, sir.
All right, take care, everybody.